Okay, let's start with something you probably did 10 minutes ago. You received a text, maybe from a friend going through a rough breakup or a colleague asking for some high-stakes feedback. You tapped the screen, and before you even finished reading the full message, a smart reply bubble popped up at the bottom. It was perfectly phrased. It was empathetic. It was efficient. So you hit send. And in that split second, something weird happened, right? There was this tiny, microscopic hesitation in your chest. A ghost of a thought that whispered, I didn't actually say that. But the text was so close to what you would have said, or at least the polite version of you, that you just let it slide. Welcome to 2026, the year of the prompt proxy. We've reached a state I call peak frictionless. Everything from our apologies to our career paths is being smoothed out by 175 billion parameter models. We're using AI to perfect our heartfelt messages, effectively removing our actual messy souls from the process of reconciliation. Think about the logic here. If an algorithm drafts the condolence and another algorithm summarizes the thank you note on the other end, we've created a ghost town paradox. It's just scripts talking to scripts while we sit in the middle, feeling strangely lonely in a perfectly optimized social life. It feels like a life hack, doesn't it? We think we're saving time, but here's the unsettling question we're exploring today. If an algorithm makes every choice, writes every word, and curates every emotion for you, does you still exist in any meaningful way? Or are you just the person shouting directions at an automated GPS, eventually forgetting how to even walk the path yourself? This isn't just about being lazy. This is a structural trap designed to turn your very essence into a resource for the machine. To understand how we got here, we have to talk about a guy named Martin Heidegger. Now, stay with me, because this isn't some dusty, boring lecture. Back in 1954, Heidegger was looking at a brand new hydroelectric dam on the Rhine River, and he had this total holy crap moment. He realized that for most people, the Rhine was no longer a majestic, poetic river or a part of nature. It had been enframed what he called Gestalt. It had become a standing reserve. To the modern world, the river was just a giant battery waiting to be used for human consumption. Fast forward to today. Look in the mirror. You are the Rhine River. Your creativity, your friendships, your very capacity to feel bored or inspired, it's all being enframed. When you scroll through a For You feed, the algorithm isn't just showing you content. It's treating your attention as a standing reserve of data to be mined. Heidegger warned that the real threat isn't technology killing us. It's technology turning our essence into data resources until they lose all human meaning. We start to see our hobbies not as things we do for the sheer joy of it, but as content buckets to be optimized for a platform. We use auto-empathy plugins to handle our social obligations because they're more productive. But when you turn a friendship into a task to be optimized, you've turned that human connection into a battery. You've enframed the most sacred parts of being alive. I'll be honest, when I first connected this to how I use my own phone, I had to put it down for an hour and just stare at a wall. It's that uncomfortable. We think we're the users, but in 2026, we've become the standing reserve. We are the human battery for the algorithm, and the cage is built out of pure convenience. Okay, so Heidegger showed us the cage. But to find the key, we need to look at Friedrich Nietzsche and a very famous metaphor he used, the rope over the abyss. Nietzsche famously said that man is a rope tied between beast and overman, and the point is that the danger, the struggle, is the whole point of existing. To be human is to struggle across that rope. It's the friction, the mistakes, the wind hitting your face, and the sheer effort of the journey that actually makes you who you are. Now, here is the part that blew my mind. In 2026, we are basically trying to buy a plane ticket across the abyss. We're outsourcing the struggle. We use AI to summarize the difficult books so we don't have to think, to write the hard emails so we don't have to feel, and to even decide whether to quit a job or end a relationship. We're cognitively offloading our moral choices, but Nietzsche would argue that if you let something else carry you across that rope, you aren't evolving. You're just a passenger who never actually lived. Here's the intellectual shocker. There is no true self waiting for you at the end of the day when all the chores are done. You are the choices and the effort you make. You are not the result of your actions. You are the heat generated by the friction of doing them. When you delete the struggle, you aren't saving time for your life. You are literally deleting the only parts of your life that actually belong to you. You feel empty not because you have too much to do, but because you've automated away the only things that make you real. You've traded your unique, jagged identity for a 99% optimized match. It's the ultimate great deletion of the self. So if we are the friction, then the most radical act in a frictionless world is to be deliberately, stubbornly inefficiency. Have you ever noticed how you value that one wobbly, slightly crooked shelf you built yourself way more than the perfect one you bought at a store? That's the IKEA effect. Science proves we derive significantly more meaning from things we put effort into, even if the machine-made version is objectively better or more symmetrical. So, here's my manifesto for living an inconvenient life. First, follow the analog friction rule. Before you touch a digital device in the morning, perform at least one creative task using only physical tools. Write a letter with a real pen. Sketch a plan on paper. Feel the resistance of the medium. Second, start algorithmic fasting. Spend 3 hours every single weekend with all recommendation engines turned off. No For You feeds, no AI suggestions, no GPS. Just intentional messy, perhaps wrong choices. It's not about abandoning the future. It's about making sure you're the one actually steering the ship. In 2026, being inefficient is a performance of agency. It's how you prove you're still in there. We see this with the manual mode movement, people filming themselves hand-grinding coffee or using paper maps. It's not just a hipster trend, it's a quiet rebellion. It's a way of saying, I want to feel the ground, even if it's bumpy. Because the bumps are exactly where the memories happen. When you save 10 minutes using an AI summary, where does that time go? Usually, it's just fed back into the algorithm. Reclaim those 10 minutes for something difficult. Let's bring this home. Your soul is not some ethereal, magical thing hidden deep inside you like a treasure chest. Your soul is the scar tissue formed by the things you did poorly on the path to finally doing them yourself. It's the 3-second hesitation before you decide not to use the smart reply. It's the frustration of reading a difficult philosophy book instead of just glancing at the AI summary. It's the inefficient long way you took home just to see the sunset without an AR overlay telling you exactly why it's beautiful. Here is my challenge for you today. Reclaim the friction. Do one thing the hard way. Write that apology yourself with all the awkwardness, the stuttering, and the vulnerability that the algorithm would have smoothed out. Because that awkwardness, that's the only part of the message that actually carries your weight. It's the only part that proves you actually care. In a world of perfect shortcuts, the long way is the only way that leads back to your own identity. We've reached peak frictionless, but meaning is always found in the resistance. So, when was the last time you took the long way home just to feel the ground beneath your feet? Go out there and be beautifully, intentionally, and radically inefficient. Don't just be a ghost in the machine. Be the friction that proves the machine hasn't won yet. I'm telling you, it's the most freeing thing you'll do all year. Thanks for exploring the abyss with me today. Now, go do something the hard way. I'll see you on the long road.